Morning guys, it's 8:30 in the morning, been up since 5. It's been very chilly last night. Anyway, I used my wood stove, got a fire going, boiled some water up because my thermos, I'm sure it's losing heat somewhere. Lukewarm coffee is drinkable, but not a get up and goer. So yeah, made a fire. It got really nice and toasty for about an hour. And because I'm using the little stove, you've got to keep feeding it. I boiled my water and everything else. I got warm. It's okay. And it's 8:30 and it's still a little bit chilly in the air. No, not bad, but the sun's really coming up. And I just checked my brook and there's a trickle. There's a little trickle. So I'm now getting my water filter because I've got to stock up again. I've got a mad rush now to get what's coming out so it fills up and stock up with some water. Again, as I say, with some of the foodstuffs that you get, yeah, I'm playing my game. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's my last account. I've got to get it all done because I'm also running out of power. My solar charger, absolute wank, sorry, pants. Well, the charger, not worth the money, is almost out of power. So I'm going to be considering getting a couple of big capacity power banks that you can just charge up from the mains. So I don't have to do all these trips into town and everything else to use to power up in libraries and everything else. So today, yeah, I've got to go. There's only so many times I can go to the church and power up there. So, yeah. I make contributions all the time when I've got it and everything else. So yeah, so it's just a mad rush to get some water and get a wash as well, because obviously there hasn't been that much water for washing. I've loaded my bucket, so I'm going to get my stove outside and start warming up some water and try out the new platform, see if it'll take my weight. Sorry. Anyway, that's again, water is the #1 priority. Water and power today. Catch you later. I'm going to go out for a walk, so if I see anything interesting on the way, I'm going to do a different route today, and I'll be sure to post it. Take care now. Show you what I have to put up with. That's the water that I managed to get out. As you can see, it's pretty murky, but let's get it going. So it's going in the filter now, as you can see. Got to separate the mud, yeah. And even though it's kitchen roll, I stuck an extra cotton bud in there today, so it's still, instead of 2, I just put an extra cotton one in, and it's dripping nicely. So hopefully that'll catch a little bit more of the dirt and everything else. It's only mud and clay and little weed burns and some little floaty those little things in there. I just dug out a little bit more of the sediment, so it's all a bit raw. It's really mucky at the moment, so I'm going to let that flow while it's still flowing, as I say. And let's see if I can get some water today. Then I can have my wash and go into town. You know, there's that, what's that expression? I'd rather watch paint dry. Well, it's actually something soothing about watching water drip out. Anyway, These are handy containers. These 5 litre water packs from Sainsbury's or Tesco's or whatever sells them. So, you know, don't ever throw them away. They're always useful for something. And they do last a little while, so anyway, I'll let it drip through first to let all that perfume stuff from the kitchen rolls get out. Right. Got a little bit of a flow. So that's water filtering, very basic. And of course you've got to boil the water afterwards as well, just to doubly be sure. But like I said, I've been doing this for months now, and I'm alright, I think. Catch you later. Right, earlier I showed you some of that sedimentary mucky water, yeah? And this is what the filter water looks like. That's pretty clear. Still probably not wise to drink it, because there was sorts of little living things in it. So, but once it's boiled, it's great. So yeah, just managed to get another 5 litres. I'm just doing another couple more here, filling up and stocking up. Boiling some water up now to have a wash. Bits in it there, who cares? More bits on me than anything else, you know. But yeah, have a wash, got a clean set of clothes, then I'm going to head out for a hike. Catch you later. It's a really great thing. I pulled the water up too much, it was really hot. I had to use some of the water I just filtered off to cool it down a bit, but it was it's so invigorating. It reminds me when I was in the Philippines, and I was just washing in the seawater and everything else, and it was what do I call it? You're always covered in salt and sweat, you know, and everything else. And I had my first freshwater wash. Oh, the thrill and the feeling is so much better. Even this, a hot water wash, and even the sun's out and all that. And I doubt if anyone actually can see me from the M25, but. But you know, standing butt naked in the woods. Oh dear. Got man boobs, but you can still see I've got there's a 6-pack here. There's an 8-pack here actually. It's just well hidden. I'm gonna have an enjoyable walk later. Catch you later. Oh dear. Well, I'm back up at my favourite scenic viewpoint, and it's about what time is it now? It is, yeah, 6:20. Went into a small town and got myself charged up, and well, didn't get much of a charge. And for some reason everything's just slow today. Not that I'm worried, but I'm almost out of fluids. Yeah, that's all I've got left, but camp's not too far from here, about a mile, and it's downhill, so I'm happy. Yeah, there's only a couple of people here, cyclists of course. And I went through the old woods and everything else. I went through the old woods. I went up a different route. Unfortunately, I picked a really steep route, but very scenic. Some beautiful, really old, beautiful trees there, which look like they're going to be cut down, which is a shame. Still, I'm just up here because I want to see if I can catch some sunset pics. Again, there's not many clouds in the sky, and the sun should be going down in about half an hour now maybe. So I'm just going to chill out for a while. So anyway, here's the
view. I just love it. That way is Brighton. I think. Sort of, yeah. Brighton, Red Hill. Gatwick is over that way, I think, over there. And looks like we got a week, maybe 2 weeks of this. Oh dear. I just hope my little brook is running, that's all. But I managed to get some water today. I'll have to boil some up and find a better container to store the boiled water in. Oh my gosh, look. Oh, hey, I don't know. And it's up there, can you see it? Oh, is that a hawk? It's definitely a hawk up there, isn't it? Yeah, he's definitely looking for something. He's got his eye on something. The way he just sits there and, well, flaps there in the breeze. It's just a. Oh, I wish this camera was so much better. It's just motionless in there, floating the breeze, and there he goes. That's definitely a hawk. Yeah, is he? What's he doing? Oh, he's off. And maybe he can see things that we can't, so. So there he goes. Oh, don't think you can see him. Anyway, just like to chill out, and that's the most important thing. Chill out and relax, enjoy what life is all around us. But then again, I'm going to start boring you, so I'm going to put this on hold, then I'm going to see if I can get some good stills of the sunset, and then I might just head on, well, I will head on back. I just got toying with an idea. If it pans out, I'll post I'll add the video on. Catch you later. Normally, when I'm out and about, I've usually got all my tools with me. My axe, my saw, my knife, some tarp. If it looks particularly overcast, I'll have my poncho with me. Always got to bring my hiking cane. I've got paracord on it. And usually I'll keep some extra ropes around, so I'll always have a little bag of just the basic essentials in it. But today, I've got a laptop, all the electronic gear and everything else. And I was just thinking to myself, oh, what happens if I get caught in a big downpour or something else like that? Well, just to illustrate a point, yeah? I just got back to this old little hollow, so it's just off the main path, just over there, and it appears to be a favourite hangout for kids and or whatever, because there's evidence of fires and everything else here before, and that's just what I thought. Now normally if I says I've got a tarp on me or something else like that, then I'd get the paracord out on my hiking staff and run a ridge line, and immediately you got a shelter. The same with your poncho. You just run your poncho over, use it as a tarp, and you got yourself a shelter. And it's the other things as well involved that well, it could rain for hours and it could get cold and wet and you'll want to dry out. So what have you got on you? If you're a non-smoker, you won't have a lighter, will you? I'm a smoker, so I've always got a lighter. But what happens if it doesn't work, or you know, there's all sorts of eventuality. But let's just say you get caught out in a downpour, you're soaking wet, and even so, without the tarps or anything else, and you're out like this, temperature drops quickly. What are you going to do? Well, again, what have you got on you? Well, as I say, I usually go out prepared, but I've always got a penknife with me. Nail clippers as well. Just been trimming my nails earlier. So I've always got a penknife. So a penknife may not be much of a tool, but it is certainly, if you use other bits and pieces around you, yeah, to get a nice sturdy piece of this, yeah, you can still use it as a chopping board to chop down trees. Well, small logs anyway. Don't think you get chopped down a big tree with that. Take you a while anyway. But it certainly will be enough, yeah, to cut down the ivies. Certainly will be enough if you've got enough deadfall and everything else around to create a, how do you call it, a basic shelter, yeah, a basic covering. So there's plenty of leaves around here and all that. Again, you could still use this if there was some decent wood around. It's not, it's really dry. You could use it if it was sharp enough to try and create a feather stick, but this is not obviously working, very hard wood. But that again doesn't really matter. So, you know, I've always got a small penknife with me, and I've always got my fire strike with me. And again, if it starts to rain, tinder could be a bit of a problem, you know, and which is why I always have a nice packet of tissues with me, courtesy of McDonald's. Always grab a big handful when I'm always there. But you only need one. So you get some wood together and everything else. And this is enough to get a fire going. So that's all you need really. Your fire strike, matches or lighter, bit of tissue, and Bob's your uncle. Got your tarp up, and you got yourself a shelter, and there's plenty of wood around to burn off, and you got yourself dry, basically. So it's really quite simple. The simplest of things can get you, how do you call it, out of the elements, you could say. It's always a struggle to find the right words, but you never know. Obviously in the city, you don't have to worry about things like jump into a shop and wait for the rain to stop. If you've got your credit card with you, yeah, can have a Starbucks or something, you know, Costa coffee or something. But when you're out in the woods and everything else, then you've got to have some things for those sort of eventualities. As I say, I've usually got either a 1x2 tarp with me, or a 2x3 usually, carry a 2x3, but I'm using it at the moment, which is going to be useful. It'll also keep you dry if you get the fire going and can collect enough wood. You can create your own, get yourself a raised bed or something else quickly, or a raised seat to keep yourself off the wet floor. So at least you have a little small shelter to keep you dry. Again, you could easily just if you think the rain's gonna last a couple of hours or so, just go and build it. There's your seat. Automatically there's a seat there. You know, you can sit there and build a ridge line over the top and just sit there, wait for the rains to stop. Yeah. Survival and keeping dry, it's not a hard thing to do. Just as long as you're aware, know what to expect. And again, if you're prepared. Obviously, if it's pissing down with rain and you've got, you know, torrential downpour going on, you know, getting the old looking for wood and everything else to do with the old hand drill, you know, to make it. Oh God, yeah, right. Yeah, it's not always that easy. And don't forget, if you're soaked to the skin, you do run a real risk of hypothermia. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, a town could be a couple of miles away. Some people have been known to suffer hypothermia in just a small downpour, or especially you know, autumn winter downpour, snows and everything else, or when it rains and turns to slush and all that. Yeah, it's not a nice thing to happen. This is why I've always preferred the heat, prefer the tropics and everything else. You know, as much as I love the cold, it's always bracing and everything else. But yeah, give me the tropics any day. You know, right to the Far East. Anyway, that was a tip for today. Always carry a fire strike with you, at the very least, and a handy penknife, Swiss Army knife, multi-tool. You know, these are two things, and a nice big wad of tissues from McDonald's or whatever fast food outlet you go to. They're always useful. If not, if you're out and about for walks, all you really need is your bug out bag, an axe or rope, paracord rather, or anything else like that. And of course, you know, your fire strike and everything else. So you'll always be, and a tarp or two. So you're always prepared. Especially now it's end of July. We've got I understand we've got a couple more weeks of really hot weather, and then it will turn. Like August, September, it'll start to get wet and miserable. I think, I was camping out last September, and it was horrible. It was, my tent, I think, was just starting to lose its waterproofing. I've actually just resprayed it. I may do another coat later on, just to be doubly sure. But actually, I'm definitely going to have to get a new tent anyway, because my poor old trusty tent has seen better days. Yeah, so if you're out and about, yeah, it's always pays to be prepared. As I say, I've got a small compression bag now that keeps my tent, my tarps, my ropes, all in it, and I just hang it on the side of my backpack when I'm out. Especially if I'm doing overnighters or you know, 1 or 2 nighters. Anyway, tip for the day: going back to camp now. Sunset went down, but it went down through the trees, so I couldn't get any decent pics. So while it's still light, I'm heading on home to my little hovel shack. It's all right. Home. A house is just 4 walls. Home is what you make it. Okay? Take care, guys. Back home. Oh my God, what time is it? Can't see a bloody thing without my glasses on. Well, it's 8:30 in the evening. I didn't get any good decent pics of and I'm really hungry. So just wanted to show you how the Luxida works. I love this little stove, and that's been with me for 6 months or more, and it's still going strong. And so I'm boiling some water up now, because I just washed my summit, got all the soot off, which will get black again in a minute, in the brook water, and I managed to grab another load of water out. It's still pretty murky and horrible, so I'm just going to use the boiling water to sterilise it and cook it all up. And I'm having pasta and beans tonight. Yeah. So I've got some more water filtering off, because I need a litre of water for the thermos for tonight's coffee and in the morning. I need a litre of water for cooking pasta, and I need about another litre to sterilise and to clean up afterwards. So it's a costly exercise in water, actually. You have to do this like twice a day. Well, you wouldn't need a thermos of litre of hot water. You only need one. But that's going to cost you a lot of water. And at the moment, it's a premium. Yeah, well, I'm stocked up inside the shack with enough water for a day or two, and I'm filtering off some more now for tonight and to fill up the bottles later on. So I should be fine. I've got to think of a way of stopping the sediment. I've got about 3 inches of good clear water on top, and then it's all murky, muddy, sediment, which as soon as you start dipping in, starts to get all mixed up. So I'm thinking one or two things. Do I buy one of those like water pumps that you can just stick in, or get one of those like hand pumps, just dip it in at the top and just pump it up and let it siphon its way through. I have to think of those. I didn't plan to go out tomorrow, but it might be an idea just to pop over, go for a hike and pop over to maybe Knights, or if there's a fish store, anyone who's an aquarium anywhere that might sell these sort of things. Knights in Godstone or Oxted or somewhere else. They seem to be well stocked with these sort of things, but very expensive, of course. But then again, I could go for a hike down to the builder's yard and see if they got anything like that, pumps and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I love this Luxida, because again, for the money, it's spot on, bang on. Okay? You can get all these other similar types, Bushman and everything else, 70, 80 quid for the same sort of thing. You pay for the name 9 times out of 10. Still, yeah, pasta and beans with some seasoning. That's good enough. But you know what they say, beggars can't be choosers. Well, they can choose between that and nothing. But isn't that life, isn't it, yeah? Freedom of will, freedom of choice. Sometimes you don't have the choices you're given are not good enough. Do we really have freedom of choice, freedom of will? Anyway, philosophical questions for another day, okay? Catch you later. I'm gonna eat because I'm hungry. Take care now.